Mr. Chairman, as usual, I've got a speech to say before I start. Anything I might say are my own views. If they upset anybody, well, tonight is just too bad. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's not appropriate to.
At the previous.
You're going to apologise before you start. I would rather you think carefully about your. I think that's only right for how we conduct ourselves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I always try to think very, very carefully about any words I might say in this chamber and elsewhere. At the previous planning meeting, I questioned the size of this extension against the existing building as viewed from Catmas Street. I said this is doubling the facade. I was actually told that I was incorrect. For a start off, I would like some explanation as to the extra length that will now be imposed upon the Catmas Street seam.
I'm not sure that it is an extra length. I thought that Mr. Hodge explained that the scaffolding was oversized, but Mr. Hodge.
Chairman, it really depends on where you take these measurements, and I'll just go back through to the plan of the building. As I explained earlier, the existing building there is approximately just over 18 metres, plus 4.8 metres in that position, which makes approximately 22 metres in total width of the building. The extension beyond the side wall of the library is 14.5. The overall extension is 19. So the overall extension is less than the overall width of the library. If you take the extension as a percentage of that section of the library, then yes, it does more than double it. But you can measure it in several different places and come to a different conclusion. But those are the facts of what it is. Whether it doubles it is not necessarily a reason for refusing planning permission in any event, Chairman.
Well, thank you very much for that clarification. Having been put down at the planning meeting as though it had not been doubled in length, I accept the new admission that we are doubling the facade of this ugly building. History. Do we learn from history? Extraordinary, here we have just gone through Remembrance Sunday. At this council, we sit in a building here tonight. We have a library across the way, both designed and built by this council. And here before us tonight, we have a further building designed by this council in our beloved county town of Oakham. What we have at the moment in the library is there, in my view, Mr. Chairman, to compound that by increasing that length in that conservation area does we councillors no good. We have had mention of the use of the Vision Centre, and I had the pleasure to go to the Vision Centre. You will bear with me, Mr. Chairman. Young children with their mothers bathed in arms. We had the headmaster of Catmas College saying how important it was to have these children at the library. Not one of those children picked up a copy of Shakespeare. Now, how they expect young babes in arms to make use of the library, how breastfeeding will be integrated into library services is quite beyond me, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I'm going to sit down before I do say something like that.
I'm the longest serving county councillor around the table tonight. And I like to put that down to, I listen to the public and I extend their views to the council meetings. Tonight we've been told that the town's representative representatives, I refer to the town council, opposed the application. I know that the local residents who have approached me oppose the development, and I've received an email from parents, existing parents that use the facility at its current location that don't want a new site unless there is on-site free parking. We know we can't provide that. We know that there are 4 council-owned car parks within 200 metres. These are all paid parking. I'm well aware that there's going to be some free parking, but I do see that parents will be going round and round in circles to find somewhere to park. Going on to conservation and listed buildings. Having probably been to as many meetings as our current chairman, I feel that if this application had been by a public, someone who's a member of the public, we wouldn't have been quite so lenient as what we've heard tonight, and I think it would have been refused. I see no difference in this application, whether it's a council application or a public application. It's going to be harmful, and I think enough has been said about that. Oakham needs car parking. We've been desperate for car parking for many years. Population of Oakham is growing considerably, and this will remove spaces. Okay, we talk about additional spaces, but I cannot see young parents with children walking from the bottom end of our council car park. Public facility. If we're going to develop this stuff, we've got to make the best use of the public money that goes into it. And I don't see with the restrictions put on to this development where we'll achieve that. Unfortunately, as Councillor Wallace stated earlier, this didn't go before any scrutiny panel. And that's where we as a council have failed. Amenity. We don't know how to affect amenity. We do know that Bull Lane may be used for parking if someone uses it. If the new building is used in the evening, it's quite possible that Bull Lane will become a parking area. I think that ties it all up. I'm really opposing this because of the harm on the conservation area, because I don't think we thought the planning issues out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I've listened very carefully to what my fellow members and members of the public have actually said today. And I think, for me, it's a bit difficult. Because actually, I've grown up with this building that everybody has been bashing tonight. So I actually look at it and don't see the ugly building that quite a lot of others see. It's actually part of my heritage. So before we go around bashing that, that's actually Sydney Conservation Area, and that's my heritage that actually we've got to be careful about. Now we are also talking about parents, children, and we've heard from members of the public, but we've not necessarily heard from parents with children, and maybe that's our fault in some respects, having a meeting at this time of the evening, that they couldn't come and actually make comments to us and actually hear what they want to say. Although I have, as a councillor, and as the chair in the Health and Wellbeing Board, actually spoken to parents. So in very much, the benefit is there. And I take on board Councillor Cross's points in some respects of his not understanding what some of the benefit would be from having breastfeeding classes, etc., happening in this building. But actually, I would then go on to say those parents deserve access to the job search facilities that are in the room next door. So once they've done that, they can actually move on and get a job. So the benefit isn't confined just to the activities that enter the building. Parking, we've heard about, and I have to actually say, you've heard tonight about actually the fact that the parking the officers have already identified enough that will actually take the place of that. So I find it very difficult to actually listen to everybody and say that we have to refuse this because of the impact it's going to have on a conservation area. We are talking about a building on a car park, or 7 cars, and a bit of grass. Now, I can absolutely understand the views that have been actually said, but actually look at it the other way. If you stand on Cllr Street, all I see is a little bit of wall and a horrible white wall in the background. But actually, is now, if this goes ahead, going to disappear. It could actually be seen as an improvement to that end of town. And it is all down to somebody's perspective. So we've got to be really careful. Are the true grounds to refuse this on? Is it actually having such a harmful impact that the community benefit does not outweigh that? And I would remind everybody, we are doing this on those planning items. We're not looking at anything else, and I would hope everybody does it on that basis. Thank you very much.
Councillor Clifton, I will be shortly calling for an extension to time, but I will just take Councillor Thomas first of all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 points really on material considerations. One is the design. I'm not convinced this is a good addition to our town centre. To quote Sarah Palin, I think it was, and put lipstick on a pig, it's going to be. My other concern, I have spoken to parents. Myself and a couple of councillors here actually went along to Visions last week. I have no doubt that there is a need for it to move. Is it the right place? That's a different question. But speaking to those parents face to face, they have real concerns about adequate parking. What do I mean by adequate parking? Not just the parking spaces, because these days with all the hundreds of pounds you pay for a buggy, that's getting the kids in and out of cars, a normal parking space isn't good enough. So 10 parking spaces, invariably 6 parking spaces. Two of the parents did say they actually live in the town and can walk, so that's good. 2 said that they have serious concerns and would debate on whether they would come. 2 said that if they couldn't get into an adequate parking space, they would park farther out and walk in because of the valuable service. But their perception was it's then much more hazardous for themselves and their children. So on that parking, highway safety, and I know the perception can't be measured, but if our service users have that concern, then we must feel that concern for them and stay here as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Councillor Mathias, I think if you want to apply for an extension of time, because we will do that.
Yes, Chair, I would like to apply for an extension of time. Not only do we have to try and finish this application, but I understand the item 16 on the agenda does need to be resolved before the end of this month. So I'll ask for at least 2 minutes to 15 minutes.
So I have a proposal for 2 15-minute extensions that will take us to 10:30. Councillor, seconded by Councillor Oxley. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Members, as has been one before we go to vote, is there anyone who should have spoken who hasn't spoken? Right, thank you very much. In that case, the decision, sorry, yes, I know I'm coming on to that. So therefore, the proposal that we have before you is very clearly written, so therefore I'm looking for a proposer, which is Councillor Mathias. I'm looking for a seconder, Councillor Clifton. Is this a point of order?
I was going to ask if there were sufficient members here that would support me in a recorded vote.
Yes, I can actually take that as well, so that you are making a proposal for a recorded vote. We need 4 other members to support you. So I'm going to ask officers, we have Councillor Oxley, yes, all taken, so we will take a recorded vote. Speed things up. Thank you very much, Councillor Hill. So we have a proposal, we have a seconder. The Council approves the planning application 2016-0874 in accordance with the recommendation and conditions set out in the original report to the Development Control and Licensing Committee. May I ask for all those in favour? Sorry, it's an, oh yes, of course, sorry, it's recorded. So the second was Councillor Clifton, and Chief Executive will call out the names and you will answer yea or nay accordingly.
For or against? Councillor Baines?
Against.
Councillor Beggy?
For.
Councillor Bird?
Against.
Councillor Rourke?
For.
Councillor Burkett? Against. Councillor Callaghan?
Against.
Councillor Clifton?
For.
Councillor Conde?
For.
Councillor Cross?
Nay.
Yes.
No.
Nay.
No. Okay.
Thank you.
Councillor Dale? Councillor Dale?
Against.
Councillor Foster?
For.
Councillor Gale?
Against.
Councillor Hemsley?
For.
Councillor King? Oh, sorry. Councillor Lammy?
For.
Councillor Macbeth? For. Councillor Mann?
For.
Councillor Mathias?
For.
Councillor Oxley?
Against.
Councillor Stevenson? Against. Councillor Stewart?
For.
Councillor Thomas?
Against.
Councillor Waller? Against. Councillor Walters?
For.
Councillor Wilson?
For.
13-4. 11 against.
So that proposal, that motion is carried. Thank you very much, members. Yes, we now need to just get Councillor King. Members of the public are very welcome to stay to the end, but if you wish to depart, thank you very much for your attention.